Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the East Riding of Yorkshire series. Together with the unparished city of Hull, it forms the county of the same name. There's 172 parishes here. Which one are we in today? Welcome back to the East Riding of Yorkshire, everybody. Now, I'm actually standing here on an old railway line. Behind me, you can see the remains of a station. You can see the platform that used to be here. Well, we're going to find out what that station was and what the railway line was as we explore the parish of Swine. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Our journey through the East Riding next brings us to Swine, which is a curious name, isn't it? Usually anything which involves the word swine is related to pigs, but here that doesn't seem to be the case. The place name Swine is first mentioned in the Domesday Book and later appears as Sween in a charter dated 1150. The name is believed to derive from the Old English word swin, which means creek. Other sources do make a reference to pigs though, stating Swine was once the site of a wealthy pig farm. Although not famed for much, Swine's landmarks include a Priory church, which is one of the most spectacular in the area. To the east of the village there's the former route of a railway line and what remains of Swine Station, and 2 miles southwest of the village there's the remains of a castle. In 1625, Swine was the birthplace of Anne Gargill, an early Quaker writer. Gargill wrote the religious works A Warning to All the World and A Brief Discovery of That Which is Called the Popish Religion. Both were published by Giles Calvert in London in 1656. The boundaries also include the hamlet of nningholm, which might not look like much on the map, but it has one of the East Riding's grandest country houses, and here I do try my best to capture it, but its distance from the road is an issue. So come with me folks around this piggy related village. Hopefully it's not a swine to walk around. Hi. We begin right on the parish boundary with Coniston, which is where we find what's left of Swine railway station. Swine Station was on the Hull and Hornsey Railway. It opened in 1864 and closed in 1964 thanks to the beaching cuts. As its name suggests, the Hull and Hornsey Railway was a branch line which connected Hull to the popular seaside resort. The line began in Hull at Wilmington Railway Station just to the east of the Victoria Dock branch line before running north. In 1914 there were 14 trains a day between Hull and Hornsey. The line may have gone now, but in theory you can still use it. It's been turned into the Hornsey Rail Trail, which in turn forms part of the Old Faithful, the Trans-Pennine Trail. Swine Station is now a private residence. It had staggered platforms either side of a level crossing that spanned this road. Okay, so let's head into Swine Village. It's a very small place. It does have a very notable church though. Let's go and find it. The first thing you notice on entering the church is the War Memorial. This has 23 names, 18 from World War I and 5 from World War II. Dedicated to St Mary the Virgin, this is a Priory church and was designated a Grade 1 listed building in 1966. The church consists of an original aisle chancel with large perpendicular windows and a west tower rebuilt in 1787. Although locked, inside there are 8 choir stalls with misericords, one of which depicts a man looking through his legs. It also has 2 screens, partly dating from 1531, a 17th century pulpit with decorative panels, and a late 18th century font. Perhaps most remarkable of all are its 14th century alabaster effigies of the knights and ladies of the Hilton family. The fact it's a Priory church is enough to give some of the local houses their names. Dead opposite is Priory House. Okay, so from the church we're going to head back towards where the railway station is and explore the rest of Swine village. Now, as I said, this is a very small place. This one shouldn't take me much more than about 20 minutes, to be honest with you. We'll see what else it's got. Not really much, but you never know. Something might surprise me. Main Street is a lovely collection of fabulous old buildings. There are no major amenities here, although there used to be. This house was the old post office, not that the sign gives it away. It's topped with its very own swine, a wooden pig. Swine village is small, yes, but anciently the parish contained much more, including around 20 villages or hamlets. Half a dozen of those are now represented by isolated farmhouses, but some, like Bilton, have grown substantially. There's no pub here now, but there were once 3 licensed alehouses. The Black Bull was the last to close, doing so in 1870. Swine was designated a conservation area in 1991. It used to have a village cross at one time too, located on Coniston Lane. It still has its phone box, which you can see here, white of course, and this one still has a working telephone. Next is an old school. This closed in 1968, after which its pupils transferred to a brand new school in nearby Skirlaw. The school became a village hall in 1973, but it's now a house. Opposite we have a parish notice board. The east riding is down to 54. The houses continue for a short distance, and a bit further along the road is an old chapel, just before you reach Coniston. Okay, so when you get to Village Farm House, which is this property right here with a penny farthing on its sign, how cute is that? It then becomes a little less populated, and as you can see it just runs off back towards the railway station. There are a few isolated properties out there, but of course the drive-in will have caught those earlier. So from here I'm going to walk back to the car, but we're not quite done with Swine Parish just yet, because there's a second settlement that falls within its boundaries. It's called nningholm, and it's very historically important. Just before we leave Swine to go to nningholm, here's a special section about that castle, the remains of which are 2 miles to the southwest of the village. Named Castle Hill, it actually sits within the parish of Warne, just over the boundary. It comprises the remains of a steep-sided medieval motte enclosed by a dry moat. Some sources refer to this as Swine Castle, but that name is disputed because it's thought to be the long-lost Bransholme Castle built by Sir John Sayer in or before 1200. The remains also include a burial ground dating back to the Iron Age. It's theorised the area was previously once used by the Romans, possibly as a trading station. Very little is known about the castle, which is why these are all theories. The last known piece of documented evidence for the mound dates to 1360, when the ownership of the land passed to Alicia de Sutton from her husband John. He was fined in 1353 for crenellating the castle without a licence. This is the entrance to nningholm Hall. Grade 2 listed, it's a Georgian mansion, which was built between 1820 and 1830. Built of grey gaunt brick, its central entrance is surrounded by a portico with an entablature supported by Ionic columns. The rear of the building features an iron veranda along its length with a bow structure, part enclosing a garden below. Benninghome is also the site of a deserted medieval village too, but there are barely any earthworks left to define it. With the hall being so far away from the road, I opted to try and zoom in as best I could with my phone camera to capture it better. It's a bit shaky, but this is the best I could do. It's separated from the road by its expansive, lush green parkland. So yeah, it's a little bit too far away to get an actual decent shot of it because there's things like trees and other bits and bobs in the way. But nonetheless, I've done my best with that. That's Benninghome Hall, and that's been the story of Benninghome, and with it, the parish of Swine. To finish with, we're driving away from Benninghome to the north, and this road runs to Arnold, which you may remember from the Riston episode. Visiting this one has now joined up the two distinct areas of the East Riding, which I'd already been to. Time to start filling in those gaps then. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.